Hello again everyone, it's Graham from Lakeside, and I thought I'd just do a very short update on this TMD. Now I was I was going to get a proper running session up here for the weekend, but I've had a major faux pas on my behalf. Now I wasn't going to say anything, but I think it's wise that people own up to doing something wrong, because I think it helps others as well in the process. And stupidly, I did a major thing wrong on this TMD, not with the layout, but with the wiring of the points. Now, as you know, I finished it all really, apart from the wiring of the point motors. Everything was installed, so much so that I was happy enough to ballast it. The problem came apparent when I started to connect up the point motors, and it got to here and it would go and stop. And I thought, well, that's weird. I can't understand that. I had put in all the wiring, which I thought I had done correctly, and I was quite organised when I did it. I cut all the wires for all these points. I cut them all to the right size, and I did them all as a batch, which I think was probably my downfall, because what I didn't do was to, if I can show you it on here, yeah, I forgot to do these links across here. I cut the links here, which you know about, you cut those and then put in these links for DCC and for the changing of the polarity. So I put the front lead in and the two cables, but what I didn't do was use the two cables to go across to bridge from here to here. All I had done was to have soldered here on this one and here on this track. That one and that one were not soldered or linked, and it took me ages to figure out why this thing, well, none of them were working, and in the end the penny dropped, and I thought, oh no, that means I've got to take all these points out again and do all the wiring for those. So I thought, well, is there a quicker method? And I thought about if I could cheat and just solder on top of here. Now it's possible, but it's very fiddly and it can be a bit messy, and I thought I'm just not up to that. And so I thought, okay, I'll take them all out. So I took up the relevant ballast, as you can see, and I redid the links here on all of them, and put three back, which are these three here, and put the power on, and same thing, stopped just there. Now this one, the class 17, that carried on actually, that went through no problems, but my little 08, this one, she stopped there. I thought, can I believe it? I really can't get my head around what is happening. And again, in my old age, I guess, I had forgotten that I had put the three wires into the point motor, which was for this side of the track, that side of the track, and the frog. What I'd forgot to do was to power the motor as well from the bus. So in other words, you get a power feed in from either side, and put that into the track, into the motor, as well as the wires. I keep knocking the camera, sorry, as well as the cables from the point itself. So there was two major things really. One were the links in the point itself, and the other thing was powering up the motor. Now I did them absolutely fine on this section here, absolutely no problem at all. But when I come to doing these, I think I must have been on another planet or something when I was doing this, because I just was not concentrating. And I think about everything which I could do wrong, I did wrong. So lesson to be learned there. And I think what the problem was, instead of doing it one by one, and I probably would have picked something up by that, I thought I'd be clever and do them all as a batch. So I had 6 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, all laid out, all the wires cut to the right length, and I just soldered away as a batch. And so two basic things there for electrofrog points I did wrong, and I was really annoyed with myself for doing that. So a major lesson learnt for me there. Hopefully I won't have to have that for much, well, not for much, but hopefully I won't have to do that again. But it does teach you a lesson, believe me. And I was so annoyed. But on top of that, that wasn't the only problem. The next problem was that I hadn't installed a point motor for this one and for this one. Only because I didn't get round to it, that was all. And I was operating by hand. Without power, obviously. That was just to check that the stock went over it. And what was the next thing? Oh yeah, the next thing was that I came to install the point motors for those two. So I got to this one and I went to install the point motor, and lo and behold, there's a beam running right across. You can see, well, it's from here, this beam here runs right the way across here, right in line where this point motor was all to go. I was like, oh God. Now before laying that particular point, or before laying all the points, obviously you have to drill the hole for the slot for the point lever to come through, and I drilled it, and it seemed to go through all right. It didn't give me any warnings that I was going through a cross member or anything. What had happened was that this particular hole here was right on the edge of the beam, and so of course the drill went through, and I didn't feel any beam underneath it. The drill went through, but of course I need at least this much room to actually put the point motor in. I can show you. So even though the pin, or is it there? Even though that pin is there, I still needed probably about another 5mm, and there wasn't 5mm available. Oh God! So then I thought, okay, well I'll chop that piece of framework out, and I couldn't because of the other wiring going on underneath it and the accessibility of it. There's no way I could get a saw up there to saw it out. So my only option then was to move the point. Now originally this point was here, the start of it, so this part was up here. So to clear that beam, I had to shift this back, which is what I've done. So all I did was that piece of straight there was here, so I just swapped the two over. But of course it meant then that this part of the track, which was over here, has now moved to here, so this ballast had to come up. So all in all, I've had some good fun times doing this, but it's working. It's working up to here. because that's the last motor I've put in, and I've got this motor and this motor still to do. It's fairly tight up against here, but it's still accessible enough for me to mount them, so that's okay. But it's getting cold up here now, even with the heaters on. It's getting quite chilly, so I'm going to pack up now and do those another day. Can't do it tomorrow, it'll have to be Wednesday. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you an update on that. So it hasn't been plain sailing, this TMD, has it? It's what I thought was going to be an easy process was actually, or has turned out to be, a bit of a nightmare. But as I say, it's all a teaching game, and it's taught me a lot, this little area, believe me. And say latest is the wiring of those points. I certainly shan't do that again in a hurry, but I say it's working now on the little 060, the class 08 there. That goes over fine with the ones I've done after I powered the point motor, or put power into the point motor, put it that way. Because what was happening before, the point motor was just trying to rely on the run through of any current on a track, and because you're using insulated rail joiners, or fish plates as I still tend to call them, power wasn't getting through. It was here, but as soon as it started to get to this point onwards, there was no power. Even though I've got dropper wires on the track, because you've got a insulator, like here for instance, there was no dropper wire. So it's just all little things like that, which really, so I've got to put a dropper wire in for that as well, and like this one here, I need to put a dropper wire in for these here. I haven't done that yet, so those two need to be done, those two rails. But having said that, you know, by the time it's done, then I shall have complete, hopefully 100% reliability as regards these points, and not stalling on them. But I've said so many times, you know, this model railway malarkey, it's a huge learning curve. Plus you've got to take into consideration, well I have anyway, the errors which I do along the way. You know, we're only human, and at that particular point I wasn't concentrating, and I was just blindly going forward when I should have realised the errors which I was creating. So that's really the update for this at the moment. So I'm sorry you're still not getting a running session on this bit at the moment, but it is getting there, believe me. I hope it's getting there, I really do, because I'm getting a little bit fed up with this now. But I'm going to pack up now, because it's getting cold, and if I'm cold I'm not happy, and when I'm not happy I'm not going to do any modelling, because I just don't enjoy it. And I've always said that as soon as I don't enjoy doing this, then I should pack up and walk away and come back when it's not quite so cold. I've had the heaters on up here probably from about 10 o'clock, and it's still quite chilly up here. It's not freezing, but it's quite chilly, and I can't work in those conditions, not doing small intricate jobs anyway, which a lot of this is. Okay folks, so that's about it. Oh yeah, one more thing before I go. I can't believe the amount of new subscribers I've had. So for all of you who have subscribed this week alone, this week I had 108 new subscribers. How does that work? That's an amazing figure. 108 new subscribers. So welcome aboard everybody, and thank you very much for subscribing, and hopefully you'll enjoy the channel as it progresses. The TMD version 4, which was the one where I had a moan, the ratings for that has just shot through the roof, and I've really got to thank you guys, because I think I had I think it's about 530 likes on it, which is an amazing score for me. I don't think I've ever had that. 5,000 views. This is all within a week. That's an amazing count. So God bless you, all of you, for being behind me on that. That was an amazing score. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, I will love you and leave you and let you get on with whatever you're doing. And I will speak to you again, hopefully towards the end of the week, when I'm really hoping that this is going to be all wired up and working as it should do. Okay, so take care and bye for now, and I'll speak to you again soon. So bye for now. Bye.